Citizens United gets a lot of attention because it deals with money in politics. But there's a Supreme Court case from 1962 that affects something even more fundamental: the value of your vote. Just like money losing its buying power, a vote can lose its influence. The Supreme Court decisions in Baker versus Carr and Reynolds versus Sims created the rule of one person, one vote. The question is no longer if you have a vote. It's how powerful that vote really is. The courts became a very important part of the political process in 1929. Congress passed a law that permanently fixed the size of the House at 435 members. The population kept growing, but the number of representatives did not. Population shifts began to emerge, but many states didn't update their districts. Some districts had far fewer people than others, yet they had the same number of representatives. After 1929, the courts became the only institution that could decide if legislative districts were fair and representation was equal. That brings us back to Baker versus Carr, a case from Tennessee where legislative districts had not been updated for decades, even though the population had changed. Some districts had many more people than others. When the people challenged this imbalance, the state argued that courts had no authority to step in. In 1962, the Supreme Court rejected that argument. The court ruled that federal courts could review redistricting cases, making representation a constitutional issue, not just a political one. Baker versus Carr did not redraw districts, but it changed something critical. The ruling allowed courts to review redistricting, something that was historically viewed as an issue that could only be solved in the political process, not the courts. In 1964, the Supreme Court made one person, one vote the law in Reynolds versus Sims. The ruling said voting districts must be based on population. But here's the problem. That ruling assumed districts would keep up with population changes. Your vote isn't just a right, it's a measurement. When representation doesn't keep up with population, that measurement gets distorted. Baker versus Carr and Reynolds versus Sims were meant to protect equality and representation. The real question is whether they still do.